welcome to Iconic Talk. This is your community's podcast with conversations about real estate, local happenings, and all things Winchester, Virginia. I'm Mark Francis, a local realtor, broker, and owner at Icon Real Estate. If you want local knowledge, you have come to the right place. Well, we are super excited about just having a chat today. I use the word we loosely because there's no one here with me. It's one of those sad instances where my co-host Megan is unfortunately not available to record. Certain things have come up. Maybe I'll let her talk about that next week. But in the meantime, you're stuck with just me. And it makes me feel a little just, how can I say it? Bare, naked, and afraid, or something like that, where essentially I'm out here all on my own. There's plenty of podcasts where people do talk on their own and just talk to you, the listening audience, without someone else. To me, they're amazing. I mean, I've listened to plenty of podcasts where that happens, but something for me, it makes me feel a little twitchy, where I need someone to banter with. So Megan, we miss you, and I miss you, and now we're ready to get on with the show. Well, welcome to episode 91. Can you believe that? 91. We're coming up on that 100th episode mark, where we'll have a very special occasion. For all you guys who have been regularly listening and following us, I appreciate that. Continue to share this with your friends. Continue to share it with those who don't really realize that it's meant to be a community-based podcast. Really, again, the heart of this really came from the idea of how can we share information and educate people about things that go on with real estate. So anybody who has a pulse is going to be looking to live somewhere or living somewhere currently. And because of that, especially in our area for Winchester, we want to keep you informed on what is going on in the real estate world. So things that have to do with appraisals or inspections or decorating, staging, the buying, the selling, you name it. We have so many different episodes over the last 90 episodes that will point you to those directions. But then beyond that is all about the community. So I hope you'll go back and look at some of those previous episodes also to say, wow, that looked like some interesting conversations. Let's go back and listen to those, because we want to spotlight people who are active in the community. We want to spotlight people who might be entrepreneurs or salesmen or business people, or have a certain bent on how they are benefiting. Not how they're benefiting, but how the community is benefited by them. And so what we want to get in today, I keep saying we, sorry about that. What I want to get in today is probably the biggest event of Winchester each and every year. And that is Apple Blossom. If you want to go back and listen to a really unique conversation, that was just a few weeks ago, where Megan and I were able to interview the executive director of the Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival, Brad Veach. That was episode 87, so go back and check that out. But the season is here. And as you'll be aware of, basically the Apple Blossom Festival has grown and expanded to become over these 2 weekend periods. And whether you know it or not, if you listen to that episode, you'll know that there are over 40 events, almost 50, and activities that are going on during the course of this 10-day period. So I'm going to highlight some of the ones that stand out to me. So instead of doing local events or talking about what's happening this coming weekend, let's just talk about Apple Blossom. So I'm on thebloom.com because that is the location of where all of their activities are posted. It's also where you can register for these events. So as you hear something that I might be mentioning, go there, check it out, and you can learn more about it, but then you can also register yourself to attend. Hopefully things aren't sold out, the ones that you want to go to. I'm sure plenty of them are. But I'm going to start with right away on April 28th. I mean, can you believe that it's almost the end of April? So we're talking just essentially as of tomorrow, events for Apple Blossom begin. Isn't that cool? So there's a golf classic tomorrow. There's a pickleball tournament that's happening tomorrow at Winchester Country Club. The Stonebrook Country Club is hosting the tennis tournament. By the way, the golf is at Rock Harbor. And so sporting tournaments and events are firing away right away tomorrow. Also, the wine festival. That is one of the things that I wanted to touch on even more because that happens downtown, right where our real estate offices are. And you can just have a good old time with that. It's going to be going on Friday, starting at 3:00. And so you buy tickets, you wander around, you get a chance to taste all kinds of different local wines and beers and brews. There's going to be entertainment, there's food, you name it. That is going on. But you know what? It doesn't end on Friday. It continues on, goes into Saturday, and you know what? Does it even stop? That's going to be a big day on Saturday. So you get Friday night and you get Saturday for the wine festival downtown. That's a sight worth seeing, I would say. But then beyond that, there's a art. It's called Old Town Winchester Artisan and Crafter Show. That's going to be downtown as well. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw earlier this week the Winchester Star. They constantly are promoting what's going on and who's doing what. But the carnival is out and about in full effect over there at Ward Plaza. So that's just the start and just the taste of what's happening. Here's one thing that got my attention that instantly when we were talking to Brad Veach, I'm like, oh, I've got to go home and tell my son about this. There is a McDonald's community esports event. So obviously McDonald's is the sponsor of that, and there is going to be an esports gaming event with my son's favorite game, Smash Brothers. I don't know, have you guys ever watched anybody play Smash Bros? It's crazy. It's insane, and I have zero skill level at it. I've played it a few different times, and I just push buttons as hard as I can, and my son will crush me. There is a skill to how you play this game. And believe it or not, there's actually YouTubers that post clips of them playing that they give highlights to. There's games and interesting enough, all around the entire country, there's pockets of events like this, that esports events just specifically solely on Smash Brothers. So I have a little insight into that knowledge, and I have a strong feeling that I'm to be there. So just to watch my son play. That is on April 29th, 11 o'clock. So come on out, come early for that one, because that's an interesting one that's happening on Saturday. Well, beyond that, that's all just this weekend. I mean, the tennis tournament continues, the pickleball tournament continues. You name it, there is all kinds of things going on. Now, back to the gaming. There is another day of gaming on Sunday for the game Fortnite. And I don't know if you guys seen Fortnite games before, but that's going to be at the esports facility at Shenandoah. That's an amazing facility, by the way. How they remodeled the building over there in the corner of campus. It used to be a fire station, I believe. Used to be, you name it. They just gutted it. It's really cool how they have an esports facility there for Shenandoah campus. Anyway, getting sidetracked. The other thing that we mentioned with Brad Veach on that episode was Fiesta Latina. That was something that's new, that they realized, hey, there was a draw, there's a call for all the Hispanic community here in town locally. And so over at Millwood Station in the banquet hall on Sunday is going to be a free family event. So yeah, learn more about that. But that is not ticketed. So if you're looking for the highlights of things to do that you're not paying money, you're not trying to get tickets for, that's going to be a special one where they're going to have music, dancing, food, exhibitions, a whole kids zone area. So if you want some culture and see what's happening there at Fiesta Latina, that would be an amazing spot to go to this coming weekend as well. Well, as we move past the weekend and we get into the course of the week, you've got the ladies only Pumps and Pearls party. I got to say, I've never been to one of those. I've heard a lot about them. I've seen pictures of it. Ladies, that's amazing. They're having a shoe contest there. And that's going to be at the Monument building downtown. Then you're also going to have the Valley Health Business at the Bloom. That's where there's going to be a networking for businesses. It's a lunch. There's going to be a motivational speaker there on May 3rd. And that is going to be at the Tolly Dental Zone. Where is that one at? I just lost the location of that. Look that one up yourselves, guys. See, there you go. This is what you get with just unedited, unfiltered episode here. Just continuing. Apple pie baking contest. You got to love that. And again, I'm not even touching every single one, but that apple pie baking contest, there's an adult category and a youth category. That's going to be at Marker Miller on May 4th. Moving on, again, I'm just glazing through these things here. You've got a dance party. Can you believe that there's going to be a dance party on May 4th as well? That's going to be fun, night filled with fun. My favorite is once we get into the full weekend of activities, Friday kicks it off for me. So you'll find me on Friday at the prayer brunch. I will be helping with that event at Fellowship Bible Church. So I'm not sure on the number of tickets. They sell out real quick, but you can find those. That's, again, Fellowship Bible Church on Middle Road. But beyond that, it's just really cool to see the kids run in their mile race around Hanley. You've got the Bloomers Luncheon, you've got the Ladies Horticultural Luncheon, you've got the Men's Commonwealth Luncheon, you've got the Stag Luncheon, so many different opportunities on that Friday. I mean, you can't go wrong with picking any one of those. Then there's the Coronation of the Queen. That is a fun one that happens at Hanley High School. There's going to be live entertainment. The celebrities will be there, and you see the Coronation of the Queen. That starts at 1:30 on Friday. And then beyond that is the Firefighters Parade, and then later at night, the fireworks. It's just so many different things. And guys, if you're listening to this and you've experienced Apple Blossom, I hope I'm not boring you, but I just want to highlight all the different things that are going on here. It's amazing. It's how Brad Veach and their team pull all this together to where every single event is done well, professionally. It's incredible. Well, and again, I'm not touching everything, so I apologize if there's a special event that you're going to or that you know about that I'm not covering. I'm just hitting what I'm thinking are the highlights. The sports breakfast on Saturday is probably one of the more popular ones as well. So looking forward to that sports breakfast. That's over at Shenandoah University, where you get a chance to hear all the guys over there. Then there's the 10K. I'm pausing here on the 10K because I have a major dilemma. I ran the 10K for the first time in my life last year. And it came on the heels of me running my first ever 10K the week before in Richmond, the monument race down there. And that was fairly flat. And I would never call it easy, but I finished. And that was all that mattered to me. I then was crazy enough to think, well, if I did it once, let me get my competitive juices flowing and run with people that I know here locally in town, and maybe see if I can beat my time. You know, you never know. You can continue to improve. The course here for Winchester and the Apple Blossom Valley Health 10K, far more hilly than the one in Richmond that I ran. I did beat my time, but it's really cool to run and look up and see the people who are cheering you on. You're running down streets and roads where people live. They're sitting on their front porch, clapping, having a good old fun time with it. I know a few people in town, and they called me out and were cheering me on. Just talking about it right now makes me want to say I should do it again. I'm still a 50-50 coin toss if I'm going to run. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. Maybe even by next week, I might have an answer. So stay on the hook for that if I do run, and then you can go look for me. Running is not my thing. It's my son's thing. Yes, he's a Hanley senior, and he runs ridiculous times. Just recently ran a 3,200, which basically a 2 mile in under 10 minutes. well under 10 minutes, and he was sad that he didn't hit the time he wanted. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm lucky to run a mile in 10 minutes. So he can do 2 in less than 10 minutes. So that's why I don't want to run, because if he's running with me, he'll just blow me away. Anyway, I pause on the 10K just because of my own inner tension that I have of should I or should I not. So feel free to let us know. Put on social media if you want me to run or if you don't want me to run, and maybe that'll help make a deciding factor for us as well. You never know. Well, obviously the big main grand parade is on Saturday, May 6th. It starts at 1:30, sponsored by Glow Fiber, who I'm a fan of. I love Glow Fiber. So support them, support that grand feature parade. And then everything else after that, there's parties later that night. There is a concert later that on Sunday night that really kind of wraps up the entire Apple Blossom Festival. Michael W. Smith. So I've been to his concerts before, years and years back. You know, he was one of the top Christian artists. For me, dating myself growing up, yeah, he was one of them. But he's got a really cool special guest, Cochran and Company, who I've heard some of their music, and it's very, I wouldn't call it bluegrass. I don't insult the bluegrass people, but kind of the trend, I give it a boom chuck sound as well, trend these days, and they have a really cool kind of pop country vibe to them that I think you guys would like. So I don't think that's sold out either, but that's at 2:00 on Sunday at Shenandoah University as well. So, I really think that with all of these things going on at Winchester, you should be able to find at least 1 or 2 things, if not 3 or 4. So my challenge to you is to let us know how many events you went to. Take some pictures. Obviously we'll be back in touch with you next week as well, in the dead middle heart of the Apple Blossom Festival, where Megan and I will chat more about that. But keep us posted. Post us on social media. By the way, if you haven't found us on social media, Facebook and Instagram is primarily where we are. Let us know. Share that with your friends as well. Well, on to the next segment, because for this next segment, I want to discuss a little bit of real estate and what implications does Apple Blossom Festival have on the real estate market. We all know that the town shuts down, right? We all know that Friday is pretty much a town holiday and all businesses are closed. We know Saturday pretty much the town is shut down as well. So you combine the fact that Apple Blossom is occurring, and typically, real estate world on any given year, the spring is the hot season, which is no different right now. You can go back to listen to Megan and I talk about some of the trends happening here this spring. But what happens when Apple Blossom shows up? Well, let me tell you, in my 20 plus years of real estate experience in town, I will tell you it varies. So, as always, Apple Blossom is very weather dependent. There's a lot of outdoor activities. So if it's cold and raining, generally speaking, Apple Blossom Festival has a more damp kind of feel to it, and it's not as involved, and people don't come out. That impacts real estate as well. So if it's nice weather, I have seen Apple Blossom bring a positive impact to the real estate world. Why? Not everybody shuts down. There are still plenty of people that come from out of town to come check out Apple Blossom Festival. They're not going to go to every single event, but when they are in town, they are going to open houses. They're driving around. They're seeing signs in the yard. Activity does pick up the week after Apple Blossom. And there's stats and trends that show that, where essentially you can see the activity, you can see the number of things that go under contract are blooming, if I want to make a fun pun that way. But you will notice that Apple Blossom signifies the spring market is here in Winchester. Before it, people are prepping their houses, they're getting things all ready, and after Apple Blossom, it's kind of like Easter. There used to be an old, trend or a saying that ladies, you don't wear white shoes until after Easter. I don't think people hold to that anymore. But here for Winchester, the real estate market is officially hot in spring season when Apple Blossom is over. So for all of you people thinking about selling your house, that is optimal. Go ahead and list it right after Apple Blossom. If you list it before, that's perfectly fine too. You might be able to get a little bit of a blip on the radar for people who are coming in town, from out of town. But I'm going to probably be I've got a few different listings right now, and I'm connecting with my sellers, with my clients, and we're looking to do at least one open house on the Sunday of Apple Blossom Festival. Really, only because I think we're going to catch a trend of people on their way out of town, if they've been in town for a while and just are looking for something else to do. So that would be around like May 7th, something to look out for. So the trends of what Apple Blossom brings to the real estate market is actually more positive than negative. You think the town shuts down, and yes, businesses do, but from the real estate perspective, there will be more eyes on your house than ever before, especially if you're in a high traffic area, if you're downtown, if you're in a neighborhood where people are driving back and forth. That is definitely a must. And then you see the big tick that happens after Apple Blossom. Yes, it's weather dependent, just like Apple Blossom is, but that is just a little food for thought. And the tip, if you have not listed your house yet and you're planning to, get it ready, get it prepped, put it on the market, even on that Apple Blossom weekend, and you will see a boom right away. So, I've got a couple of clients who are waiting. So yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you guys. Let's get that going. Let's get it listed. Well, one final thought before we wrap up this show and talking about all things Apple Blossom and all things Winchester, and then a little bit about real estate. Here's the final plug. We're not going to talk about other local events this weekend because we talked about enough with Apple Blossom, but here's the one that I want to plug. Our real estate office. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I'm going to plug, feel free to come to Icon Real Estate's office open house this coming Saturday. And obviously the wine festival is going to be going on at the same time. When you're downtown and you're attending the wine festival, pop into our offices, 41 South Cameron Street in the heart of downtown. We're going to be open from 12 to 2 for anyone to pop in and just see the amazing building that we have. See the architecture, see the interior design work that our good friend Ruth Truman did for us, so you can listen to her thoughts on a previous episode as well. See just the different creative ways that we've been able to incorporate how a real estate office can operate, what it looks like. And, we don't want to be a typical brick and mortar location. We want to have fun. We want people to be able to stop by, say hi to us, use the space if you need to. Feel free. If you're walking downtown, you're like, hey, I just want to get out of the heat this coming summer, and you're like, I'm going to pop in and just say hi to Mark or Dave or anybody at our front desk or any of our other agents, go for it. We've got drinks, we've got coffee, we've got a few snacks if you want to pop by. If you want to use our internet, feel free. We're an open office. Typically, we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But this coming Saturday, it's a special office open house party to where you can see where we are. And we're going to have drinks. We're going to have a couple games in the backyard. We're going to have some food. So it'll be an amazing prequel to your wine festival experience. Come to the office there between 12 and 2 this Saturday. Well, thanks so much for joining us. There it is again. Thanks for joining me this episode of Iconic Talk. We hope you learned something from today's episode. We're going to be talking more Apple Blossom even next week, but we hope to share more with you about that and have another guest on and get Megan back here. Yes, I miss you, Megan. So remember, when you're looking for a real estate professional, make sure they're experienced, innovative, personal, dedicated, and available. And we really want you to spend, more of your valuable time with us. So when you do have a moment, share this with your friends. Take a moment to subscribe yourself, but then also let them know that they can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, really wherever they get their podcasts. So pass that on. We want to continue to grow the trend here where people are getting informed from Iconic Talk. Thanks to our editor extraordinaire, Simeon Battaglia. Until next time, think Iconic.